Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in once again to On Point with Abbas Hamidi. We try to bring you extraordinary individuals and stories which makes a positive impact in your life. Before I start, I would like to thank everyone in supporting the channel, and it has been an amazing journey until today. And keep supporting and keep hitting that like button. Today, we have a privilege to speak with a very important person who not just transforms bodies or fitness, but he also transformed mindsets. He is an award winning trainer in the year 2019, and he's not just a trainer, but he's also a founder, he's an entrepreneur known as AbhiFit. Get ready to have a positive impact from this episode in your life where fitness is concerned, and also, the most importantly, how to improve and get a positive mindset. Hello, Abhinav bhai. How are you today?
Hey Abbas, I'm good. Thank you for having me here.
It's amazing to have you today.
Honestly, I feel a bit intimidated, man. It's very cool looking podcast, and
Thank you. It's your first time on the mic.
No. I've been on the mic before, but
Okay.
still, coming on a podcast where you may ask any question and I have to answer there, and then it's like a bit, on front of the camera, it's a bit challenging
yes,
sometimes.
it is challenging.
Yeah.
And you're here already. There's a positive energy that is coming from you.
Oh really? Maybe you are emitting it back.
Okay, let's get into the podcast today. Thank you once again to be here. Okay, a very important aspect of life is fitness, and a lot of people are talking about, and a lot of questions are coming in. A lot of people have asked me to ask you a lot of questions, but we'll try to cover the most important aspects. And first and foremost, let's begin with why did you choose to be in a fitness category? And there are so many things that people can do.
Okay, so there's a story to it. I was not always in fitness. I'm from Delhi, and we had a family business. So
Okay.
I was the youngest in the family. So we had in the family business. This is my father who started the business. Then it was my brother who's 7 years older to me, and then it was me. So to be honest, I never liked my business. It was a logistics business, so where it was a flourishing business, but it was very it was a kind of business which I could not relate to because I was a young boy going to college and parties and
Yes.
things like that. But you're sitting in a family environment, in a family business, and doing a logistics business. Something didn't come to me, so I was forced into the business, to be honest. But I could never like it because I was always overshadowed by my brother and my father also. So what happened? I always had an obese childhood.
Oh, you're obese?
Yeah, I was a fat kid, and I had asthma when I was three.
Oh, really?
So yeah. Throughout the life, I had asthma issues, and because I was fat, so I was not fit myself. So I had confidence issues because I was a fat kid. So what happened? I always tried to join a lot of gyms and lose weight. I went to slimming centers as well to lose weight, but I always yo-yoed it back. So but I always wanted to make a good body as well. I want to lean out because I was going to Delhi University, where I also wanted to be a center of attraction. So whichever gym I used to go to, the trainers in those gyms, they used to give me different advices. Whoever made their own body in a certain way, they would give the advices. No, do this, do that. So it was all very confusing. And by the time I was into college, I had sciatica issues. I had severe sciatica issues.
Sciatica is the nerve compression, right?
Yeah. So because of the herniated disc,
Okay.
it compresses the sciatic nerve,
Yeah.
and there's pain radiating down to the ankle.
There's
So
a numbness in the.
yes, and it was severe. So I used to limp around for 2 years.
And what age was that?
I think I was 20, 21.
Okay.
Okay. And it was very disturbing for me. So whichever doctors or orthos I used to go to, they used to say I won't be able to bend in the entire life. I should not bend. I should not even lift 2 kilos of weight. And I always loved sports. So I but life is tough. So the solution they used to tell me was surgery. Go for a surgery. And the spine surgery at 2021
Complicated.
was very intimidating to me. I never wanted to go for a surgery. So I visited a lot of physiotherapists. I visited a lot of chiropractors, alternative therapies, acupuncture, and things like that, but nothing could cure me. Okay, and because of
What
further,
can I ask you why? Why reason nothing could cure you? Because everyone claims that they can cure this. So
what
why was there no cure for you?
what happens is, it depends on what kind of a professional you go to.
Okay.
Okay, and sorry to say, but like there are different trainers and all kinds of trainers in the market, and there are all kinds of doctors in the market. So there are all kinds of physios in the market, and these. And I was from a small city of Faridabad, which is near Delhi, but however, I tried getting all the treatments everywhere in India, but everybody just failed. Okay, it was probably some relief of a day or two, or maybe half an hour or 1 hour, and then the pain would come back. So I was very disturbed because of all that. And then, because of further inactivity, I had cholesterol issues, I
My
had
God.
borderline diabetes, and things
Oh
like
my
that.
God. So
So,
you were a package of everything that was not supposed to be there.
exactly. And I was not into fitness. So, what happened in 2010, I moved to Pune and to handle my family business. And there was a personal training academy called K11 Fitness Academy where I did a personal training course just out of my passion because I really wanted to know what the truth is. I wanted to learn the science behind fitness and nutrition and pain and all that stuff. So, because I was very curious, I excelled in that course, and everybody started, everybody started giving me a lot of attention. That you're very good. So that grew my passion, and my mentor was like a celebrity, the real celebrity in India, fitness celebrity. His name was Kaizat Kapadia. He's no more. So I wanted to be like him. Ab yahi karna hai. So from there, I just decided, okay, now this is what I want to do, and I would make myself so knowledgeable that I would fill the gap in this industry, and I want to help people. I want to help people like me. So I want to help people in pain. I want to help people with different health conditions. I want to help them understand the correct science of fitness and nutrition.
I think for you, you've come through experiencing that part of life
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you
yeah.
yourself were suffering,
Yeah,
and now you have become a fitness trainer. So you've experienced the whole journey
yeah.
from 0 to 100. So I think that is where your uniqueness and why you're so successful is what I understand.
Yeah. And so my good fortune was that I had the right mentors at that point of time. So I was working very closely with the best sports physiotherapist in India that time. He was a master of sports physio from Australia, and he was my teacher.
So he was in the
He was in
same.
Pune.
Ah, okay. So same training institute that you were
Yeah,
going.
yeah, yeah. So I did after that, after my personal training course, I did a special population for advanced for people with health condition and pains.
Okay.
So I did that course. He was my teacher, and I was able to reverse my sciatica through
Oh,
my
you
knowledge.
reverse it now. You
I
don't have
reversed
it.
it through my fitness training and knowledge of strength training and overall anatomy, kinesiology, and because I was working so closely with the best physiotherapist of India. So there I got to know, okay, now if I can do it for myself, and there are so many people struggling, so then I can do it for the others as well. And this is where I want to create my identity. So that's where I thought, okay, I want to venture into fitness. But I did not become a personal trainer back then because I still was in my family business.
Ah, okay.
So by 2015, I was on and off in my family business and doing some. I had a fitness academy in India. I was doing a gym management business in India. I was still not a personal trainer. What happened in 2015? We had to move to Delhi, the entire family, my mom and dad, my brother's family, and my family, because there was a business collapse. So our original business collapsed.
Okay.
So
The
there-
logistics business that you do.
Yeah, it collapsed, and the losses were huge, and we lost everything that we had. So
But I think it was a blessing for you because then you could have gone, you went out of that business and then you did.
exactly. So what happened? Everybody used to feel sorry for me, but I was internally happy. Okay, now I can prove to my family that
You can do something.
I can do something, and at the same time I can do something of my own that I love. So when I moved to Dubai, I didn't know any other skill other than fitness. So I just became a personal trainer. I joined fitness first, and from there on, my journey began.
Wow. It's a great journey. And now you're in Dubai and one of the best coach and award-winning trainer now. Let's talk about sciatica nerve that you.
Yeah.
Can you explain what is it? It's a nerve compression, is what I understand.
Yeah.
And how common it is, and how did you reverse it? Can I know?
So basically, there are different in the spine. There are different vertebrae. There are cervical vertebrae,
Yes.
the neck, then the thorax, then a
Yes.
lumbar. So my sciatica was in between L4 and L5 and N5 S1.
So there are
So
different types of also the compression. There's a different areas of compression as well.
yeah, so in between the vertebrae,
Okay.
there are discs.
Okay.
So because of our lifestyle and because of weakness in the spine and because of a lot of other issues, those discs start to pop out. Okay, and that is called a disc protrusion or disc herniation or extrusion, or there are different
That's what a
names,
slip disc.
or slip disc. There are different names at different stages of that issue. Okay, so when that disc comes out and starts to hit the nerves over there, and when it hits the sciatic nerve, which runs down from that area to from the
The thigh
glutes
muscle. Yeah.
to the thigh to the ankle. So there's a nerve compression. So because of nerve compression, there's a radiating pain, and it's very painful. So it's a very nervy pain, which starts from the lower back and goes down to the ankle.
Yeah.
So that is sciatica. So how I reversed it, I cannot tell you in 2 minutes how I reversed
Yeah.
it, but of course, it needs to be a combination of a lot of stretches, some manual therapies like some trigger point release, and at the same time strengthening the right muscles so that it reduces the stress of that area. You know,
Yeah. It loosens the nerves.
it doesn't loosen the nerve. It loses. So basically, because of that inflammation over there are a lot of spasms that are created around those musculatures, around those tissues. So the muscles get tight, and because those muscles get tight and chronically spasmed, so then those nerves get even more compressed. So there's a lot of things that we can do,
Yeah.
uh, like
Like you just said, that all the exercises and everything that we do.
Yeah.
How much time did it take you to reverse this?
In phases, actually, first is a rehabilitation stage where we try to just get pain free. Okay, so when you try to get pain free, of course, I was that time working with a physio who was basically releasing my spasms over there. So once, and of course, I was also doing a lot of stretches of the glutes, of the hamstring, and whatever the tight areas around that. So with those stretches, I started feeling relief. But those stretches will only relieve you temporarily.
Yeah.
They need to be combined with strengthening the right exercise, with the strengthening the right muscles as well. Otherwise, that effect will not last long. So it's a combination of stretches, some release in
Release and
those
relax the
muscle
muscles.
fibers, and strengthening the right muscles,
Yeah.
and of course strengthening the core.
Okay. Oh, tell me one thing. When you handle a lot of people in daily life, right? In your training center and all that, what is that one mistake that people come to you saying that okay, that one mistake that they do in life, in daily life, where it really hampers their fitness. When if they are working or as a housewife or someone, what is the main reason for not being fit? Is it something they eat or
See, what happens is it's a combination. In this time, the number one problem that people are going through is lack of movement. People are chronically sitting all day. They're not moving enough.
Yeah.
People say, I don't have time to go to the gym. Even if they go to the gym, they still keep sitting. So lack of movement combined with the abundance of processed foods around, you go back 20, 30 years back, there was not so much of processed food around what we have today in the supermarkets and things like that. Especially,
but what can we do, right? That is the thing that is available. What can we do to make our lives better, even though we are having processed food, right?
yeah, it's not just having processed food. It's having an abundance of what happens if you're having processed food and a lot of so basically. If you're having a lot of it, then you're over consuming energy, calories, and those calories are getting stored in the body as a form of fat. Not just that, we are also, circulating excess blood sugar in the bloodstream because we are chronically having carbs, and calories. So it gets addictive. And when it gets so, a lot of time people just have nothing else to do and they just eat.
In Dubai, if we talk about a lot of people order from outside food. I mean,
Yeah.
Talabat is the home delivery. apps and other companies are just 5-10 minutes and you have your food. So people have got used to, and have made a habit to order food from outside. So do you think that that is also one of the reason, or food from outside is where we don't understand what's in the food 100%, what is the calorie count, we don't, and it's processed food or not? What are your
And that is
views?
why now there are so many healthy restaurants coming in with healthy meals,
Yeah.
because people are now getting more and more aware of healthy eating. But still, there are two kinds of people. That there are people who are living with lack of movement and still overconsumption of those kind of foods. And then there are people who are fitness aware, who are going to the
Yes,
gym, who are working on the health, and then they try to eat better. So in my case as well, it's not all the time that I'm eating healthy food. I'm 80% of the time I'm eating the good foods, and 20% of the time I'm giving room for flexibility.
Yeah.
But even when I'm eating those kind of foods, I party as well. I consume alcohol as well. I eat my pizzas
Yeah.
and biryanis and butter
Yeah.
chickens. I'm a foodie.
Yeah.
So remember my childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I compensate it by at least going to the gym every day, and I'm walking 10,000 steps in a day. So at
So you're
least
saying 10,000 minimum, 10,000 steps has to be done in a day.
it's a good benchmark. It's not that everybody has to do 10,000, but it's a good,
It is a good
benchmark
benchmark,
of, at least you're moving around in the day. So even if you're going to the gym, but you're not moving around in the day, then also you're not doing a good thing. You can't be a couch potato even after going to the gym and doing intense training. You still need to move around. So steps is a good marker of movement.
Correct.
So then we just give a benchmark. So, but if a person is there who's just barely moving 3,000-4,000, I will not give a target of 10,000 steps. I was like, okay, can we move it to 7,000, 8,000?
So you customize on
And then
person to
gradually
person.
go up. Yeah.
Okay.
Because going to the gym is important, training is important, but also movement is important, because movement is directly correlated with the longer lifespans and a healthy lifespan, longevity.
Yeah. Tell me one thing that a lot of questions have come in regards to diabetes. It's a very common issue in the world right now, and I think in UAE also it is something that it keeps increasing year in year out.
Yeah.
And even in my friends and family, if I see, a lot of people are suffering from diabetes. So why that happens? What is the cure, and how do you treat it? Which is the best possible way to control it or reverse it? Or
Again, exact issues that I told you right now. The diabetes, diabetes are of two types. One is type 1, where it's you can't control it, it's by genetics. So where you just do not produce enough insulin. Then there is type 2, which is lifestyle based. So type 2 diabetes is basically we have called upon to ourselves. And again, the problems are lack of movement and overconsumption of calories, and especially processed food and overconsumption of carbs. There are hyper palatable foods all around. There are ice creams and pizzas and anything. Even ghar ka khana, we can overconsume.
do you even think the schedule, the daily schedule that we have made in Dubai, especially a lot of people take lunch break in between the day, and then they have dinner and then they sleep immediately? Do you think that those kind of things are also affecting diabetes? It's increasing the cause of diabetes?
See, having dinner and immediately sleeping is not a problem. But the problem is overconsumption of calories and overconsumption
What you
of
eat.
carbs. Yeah, what you eat and how much you eat, and then not moving enough. So the food gets broken down, especially the carbs, they get broken down into glucose, the smallest particle, and then that glucose is absorbed into the bloodstream.
Right.
Now, if we are not using that glucose, then it's just either getting stored as fat, or it is getting circulated. To which the normal human response is the pancreas secretes insulin and it controls the blood sugar down, where it has to shuttle somewhere. The insulin shuttles it into either the muscles or the liver or the fat. Now there comes the point where, because we are not moving enough, so there's no space for that glucose to enter as well. So it keeps circulating in the bloodstream, and that affects every cell in the body. It can lead to extreme diabetes, can lead to retinopathy, the eye damage, kidney damage, nephropathy, and even neuropathies. I've got clients.
It's a slow poison, I think. Diabetes.
Excess of blood sugar in the body is toxic, and
You know,
it damages every cell in the body.
I've just had a conversation with one of my friend, and when we speak about diabetes, okay, he was saying like, what should I do? Jeena chhod do? Do I stop living? Do I not eat anything? So that kind of mindset people have, that what jo hona hai hone do. whatever is happening, because I have to eat. How much do I control myself? How much do I do this? How much do I do that?
Like I said, you got to eat, but first you got to be healthy, and then also you need to make smarter choices so that you don't get unhealthy.
So
You
that
don't.
is what smarter choices you said, right?
Yeah.
Smarter choices comes when you educate yourself, right? To
Yep.
understand what is a good choice.
And that's what I do. I just not only train people, I educate them about the underlying problem and how it happened and how we can reverse it and then how we can maintain that. Now, a lot of people who come to me, they have either borderline diabetes or some kind of insulin resistance issues like PCOS or any kind of metabolic issues, coupled with uric acid, coupled with blood pressure and things like that. And then they have some kind of pains as well. And then they have to lose fat as well. And then they are weak as well. So, there's a host of problems that people come to me with. And then my job is to first educate them about what's happening,
Yeah.
and then start
you
training
transform.
them and make them understand the process of how we can reverse it, how a combination of strength training, movement, cardiovascular activity, and most importantly, the right nutrition with sleep management and stress management can cure them. And it's overwhelming initially, but step by step by step by step, a person learns it. And that is why, a lot of people stick to me and my company for a long time because they get the right education,
education.
and the step by step approach is something that they like. It's not a you come to me, lose 15 kilos in 2 months, and you're done. We emphasize on education, we emphasize on lifestyle, we emphasize on training a person with the right form and technique and educating them.
Amazing. I vouch for this. A lot of feedback I've got from your clients who are people that I know from
From your community,
friends,
I
community
know.
friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I absolutely understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
One more very so I took a questionnaire from online. So the people who can ask you any question if they want to. A lot of people ask me about arthritis. So it's where you shake your hands when doing something or your bones are aching inside.
The shaking of the
pain.
hand is Parkinson's.
Parkinson's,
The
but even
tremors.
arthritis that happens, or it
In
doesn't?
arthritis, it doesn't happen,
A
but there can be joint pains.
Yeah, joint. Yeah, exactly. So if you have joint pains, then you can't do you can't work, and I think it happens mostly after 45, 50 years or
No,
something.
no,
or
no, no.
no?
There's no age.
There's no age for that.
No, no.
How do you treat? Because a lot of people are very happy on your treatment regarding that, and what is
Yeah.
even it's very painful sometimes, right?
So what happens is there are two kind of arthritis. One is osteoarthritis. One is the rheumatoid arthritis.
The other one is
Rheumatoid
Oh,
arthritis,
okay.
which is basically an autoimmune disorder where our immune system is attacking its own joints, and that rheumatoid arthritis is mainly mainly affects the joint of the fingers. Apart from other pains, joints. If you're having a lot of joint issues in the fingers,
that happens. Why joint issues?
it's an autoimmune disease.
Okay.
Autoimmune disease is basically when your immune system starts to attack your own cells. It can be any cell, In rheumatoid arthritis, it is the joints. In psoriasis, it can be skin. In multiple sclerosis, it can be nerve cells. And there are different kind of autoimmune issues. In Hashimoto thyroiditis, the thyroid gland. Any autoimmune disorder happens mainly because of three things. One is your genetics. Secondly, gut issues. There's a condition called leaky gut, which again we get because of the issues with stress and our lifestyle, because of which the lining of the gut, which should allow normally only the nutrients to get inside the blood, it also allows bigger particles which are not required. So the immune system think of that as some foreign body and they start to attack them. But in the process of doing that, it also attacks our own cells, which look like them, and it can be any cell, nerve cell and joint cell and your bone
Now,
cells
how do
and
you fix
everything.
this?
So again, with rheumatoid arthritis, because it's an autoimmune disorder, we also need to work on the gut through by again improving your food intake, by improving the choices of food, have more fibers in the diet, have less of processed food, work on stress management. Training would help in the reduction of pains. Strength training is so magical, and you can ask a lot of your community members as well. When we make them train the right way, it reduces their pain magically, because strength training is good for the joints because the muscles around the joints
Yeah.
are getting stronger, so the pain in the joint they
Right.
reduce. There are, if I get down to the brain physiology, it's gonna be too much for this podcast. But in general, if you work your muscle, if you strengthen the muscles,
Right.
then those joints they get pain free in the longer run, and then you build a lot of stress resilience as well. You
Right.
don't get to
Those stress. Yeah.
experience those pains.
Right.
Now, this is about rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune disorder. In osteoarthritis, it happens mainly because of degeneration. Again, because of lack of movement, people aren't moving enough. So the muscles, they start, you start to lose muscle. Because muscle, like any other tissue,
Yeah.
either
Needs to
you
be.
you use it or you lose it. So because of inactivity,
I think a lot of desk jobs and all that people do, everyday same routine also might even
yeah,
affect this
yeah.
things. Yeah, you're on the screen every day with one particular posture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So
if it's a knee, if it's an arthritis in the knee, then it means the knee joint is getting degenerated. If it's in the neck, it means the vertebrae in the neck is getting degenerated now because of those degenerations. There's a lot of inflammation around those tissues,
right.
and there's inflammation and there's lack of muscular strength, which needs to hold the joint together. So we try to reduce your inflammation through a variety of recovery techniques and also strengthen the right muscles surrounding
Right.
those joints.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah. And simultaneously improving your health in general also decreases pain because when your
Yeah.
health is
Health is better. You
is better, the pain perception by the brain
right.
is lesser.
What kind of problems does people occur with thyroid? What is where the problem is?
So thyroid is basically a gland in a body
Yeah.
which produces thyroid hormones. The
Yeah.
function of thyroid hormones is to control mainly the metabolism. So there are two kind of thyroid problems like hypo and hyper.
Okay.
Majorly, people come to us with hypothyroidism,
Okay.
where the thyroid gland is secreting less of the hormones, which leads to reduced metabolisms, and a lot of other issues can
Yeah.
happen with that.
So that creates obesity or something like that. Right?
So yes, it creates obesity because you burn less calories at
Oh,
rest
okay.
because the metabolism is now slower.
Okay.
So it can happen in both males and females,
Okay.
and majorly a lot of females come to me with hypothyroidism issues.
Yeah. Yeah. And what would you suggest them to take care? How do they take care of thyroid?
So now it's a vicious circle because of their lifestyle. Now, thyroid can be a lot of types. There's something where you cannot control because genetically your thyroid hormones are actually producing less of the thyroid hormones. But majorly, it's a lifestyle related issue where because of their lifestyle and a lot of stress in the body, the brain responds in a manner where it produces a lot of stress hormones called cortisol. Now, those cortisol will lead the thyroid gland to produce less of the thyroid hormones, which is basically leading to obesity again. So because of lifestyle, you are creating obesity and stress. And because of this obesity and stress, again, it's a vicious cycle. You are creating less of the thyroid hormone. So we need to break that cycle by, again, introducing movement, improving the nutrition, losing fat, and taking care of your sleep and stress issues.
Oh, wow. Everything is related to stress. We most of your answers I can relate it to stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
In today's world, FOMO, like it is said that FOMO is the new anxiety in today's world. Is fear of missing out.
Yeah.
How would you relate that with the problem that people are having today in today's world?
See, now, as I said, there's a lot going on with the stress these days. Back in the primitive times, there was only one kind of stress that the human had to protect themselves with.
Survive.
That was to survive against a lion killing you. But these days, there's no lion behind you, but there are other kind of stressors which are self-induced. That can be psychological stressors. It can be stress. It can be biological. It can be obesity. But the most important stressor which people are self-inflicting are the stress of comparing themselves with the society. There are peers in the society which they always have to compare themselves. So I know people who just all the time complain about, I'm not doing well, the other person is doing well. People are actually more concerned about the other people. If the other person has bought a Mercedes, then you get low. You should not. If a person is going on a holiday, you get low. You see yourself, be grateful, be content with what you have, and achieve to create more value in your own life.
Right.
Compare yourself with yourself, not with others. But it's a thing that is not so easy these days, because there's so much of social media.
Yes, right.
This people are doing this and that and this and that. So you
I think
gotta
a
be
lot
content.
of people compare, with other people.
Yeah, you gotta be content. You gotta be grateful, and think of creating more value in your life and other people's life. And that's where, that's one of the most important things in stress management that I actually tell them: maintain a gratitude journal.
Right.
Have a gratitude journal. By the end of the day, be grateful to the universe that, hey, universe, I'm able to survive another day. My family is okay. My health is okay. There's so much that you've given to me. There's a lot of things to be grateful about. If you really want to compare yourself to others, compare with people who are in the war zones. Families are dying. That's somewhere people are not even looking there.
So what people do is they compare themselves with the person who's higher to them. We
Yeah.
should compare and see that what we have and the person who's below us what doesn't have, what he
Yeah.
doesn't have. So we have to stop comparing, I think, and we just have to work hard towards what we want to achieve in life, I think.
And create value. Find your own
Create value.
purpose.
Yes.
And help the society.
Yeah.
Your product, whatever business you're doing, apart from making money, you should always think of giving to the society as well. And that is where my job is so gratifying.
Yeah.
Not only I'm following my passion, I'm helping others, and it creates a lot of gratitude in my life.
Yeah. Amazing. So, Abhinav, you spoke about a lot of gender women getting affected by thyroid, right? Even there's a problem of PCOS that a lot of people complain, and a lot of questions are coming in for me to ask you regarding that. What is it? How can you cure? Is there a cure solutions? What are the best practices, to reverse it?
Insulin resistance is the underlying cause of PCOS. So if we want to make ourselves less insulin resistant, which is more insulin sensitive, again, we got to introduce some kind of strength training. We got to lower down the carbs. We got to move more. We got to sleep better. We got to lower down the stress. So overall, it's similar thing. Plus, there are certain supplements that we can introduce as well, which are evidence-based, helpful with the conditions called PCOS. PCOS as a condition can be managed. It's a lifestyle issue. So just correct your lifestyle and see yourself getting better with PCOS. And it happens all the time.
Yeah, right. So, Abhinav bhai, from our conversation, a lot of problems are occurring with simple, common things, which is we talked about stress, we talk about eating healthy, we talk about movement, we talk about gratitude, we talk about not comparing ourselves with other people, be content in what you have, right? These are common things which are having big impact and dangerous impact in our lives, and we are getting a lot of diseases and symptoms and all types of issues in our life. What is the best practice, like in a daily routine, if you say? What is the best practice? How do we see, how do we eat healthy? How do we determine that this food is healthy, this is not? What are the best practices you would recommend people?
See, there are a lot of dietary approaches that people take. I have myself taken a lot of dietary approaches in life. There are a lot of fat diets, which also I've done. But in my opinion, try to stick to most of the unprocessed foods. Basically, stay away from processed foods. So eat some things which are close to nature. Eat a lot of protein. Animal meats are amazing. Eggs are amazing. A lot of plant-based fiber. A lot of fruits and vegetables.
Right.
Good fats like olive oil and even ghee and coconut oil.
Right.
And nuts. have a diverse fatty acid profile. So if you try and stick to these principles 80% of the times, then overall you'll see your health getting better and your gut also improving. People a lot of times which have leaky gut, which gut issues which can lead to autoimmune disorders. These are the approaches that we take. Try to include more of the fruits and vegetables so that you get more fiber. You get more fiber. There are microbes in the gut that thrive on fiber.
Right.
So
There are
your
the
gut gets better.
probiotics that people recommend to take. There are doctors who give you a probiotic, 1,000 billion, 50 billion something probiotic. What do you mean by that? What is that?
So probiotics basically they're carrying the species of bacteria like lactobacillus and bifidobacterium and different things like that. Before you even jump onto the probiotics, have your base nutrition right.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of controversial aspects of having probiotics because we don't know, how our microbiota looks like. The researches are still going on. So it's very, it's not a good practice to actually recommend probiotics straight away. Start with better eating habits first, like to introduce more fiber in the diet. Try to have less of the processed food. Move more because movement also affects the brain. The brain affects the gut. Exercise more.
Right.
So,
But the probiotics that you said, the doctors recommend this. I have been recommended by a very renowned doctor, and he said that okay, you can take the probiotics, and it's a 50 billion something bacteria.
yeah.
And whenever I go to the pharmacy, right, they are almost sold out with that product.
Yeah.
So a lot of recommendations are going in the market for that product, right? Probiotics.
Yeah.
And if it's not safe, and we should be, so it's concerning.
I'm not
right?
saying it's not safe. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of hit and miss with the probiotic. Even if you have a probiotic, the gut can be irritated initially because the kind of species that you are introducing into the gut, you don't know whether they are needed that time or not, or what is actually the composition of your gut right now. There are trillions of microbes in the gut, in the body.
Right.
You don't know which one. Even the two people with healthy gut or unhealthy gut can have different microbes in the body. So how do you know which exact species to introduce and in which quantities? So at least a trainer should not be recommending a probiotic at all. There's a biohack summit that I went to and I spoke about the gut health, and they asked me the same question: what do you think about probiotics? I don't think it's a very good idea to introduce probiotic. At least let the doctor recommend. The trainer should not be recommending a probiotic.
Right. That gives me the answer for
Yeah. So
question.
correct your nutrition, correct your stress, because stress will impact the gut as well.
Right.
If you're stressed out, the gut function will automatically downregulate.
Right.
So stress again is.
Tell me one very unusual case that you've handled, and you're very proud of it, that you achieved that, or the person feels better than how he or she came into you. Give me one example.
Man, there are so many different cases that we handle, and everything is so gratifying. There are cases that we've handled of people coming to me after bypass surgery, after angioplasty, who after 1 year of training with us, they have completely transformed their health and blood reports. There are people coming to me with brain issues. So I have also been delving into neuroscience. So I've studied brain science and how we can improve the brain function to improve the body. There are cases who come to me who are wheelchair bound, who have multiple sclerosis. There are people with Parkinson that come to me. There's a person who came to me from Egypt with 30 years of chronic peripheral neuropathy, which is basically the nerve damage. Yeah, and my training, which is primarily strength training, it helped him. There are all kinds of people with back pain where the 10 years of physiotherapies they've been taking with no results who come to us, and we introduce the right movement with after proper assessments, and we try to get them stronger and mobile, and there's no back pain.
So any age does not matter here in recovery. If you're talking
in
about
training,
back pain, let's
in strength
say,
training,
yeah, in back pain, for example.
yeah.
So does it? You can even reverse the back pain even if the person is 50, 60, 70 years old.
Yeah, exactly. There is a lady that comes to us. She is 75. Actually, my trainer goes to her. One of our female trainers goes to her place. She is 76 and she has all kind of back pains and knee pains when she started, and now she is living a pain-free life, and she is doing strength training. She's getting herself stronger.
Wow.
Strength training is the best thing that you can do at any age, especially as you get older.
Right.
There's another podcast we can do on even for strength training for
Yeah,
elderlies.
yeah. That could be very interesting in the podcast. So, also one more thing I wanted to ask you that you talked about training, right? Training self, body, and mind and everything. But in the region that we live in, a lot of the Islamic culture, the respected culture that we have. Do you have any do you have any way where even women can take training, and how can they achieve their best fitness if they wanted to come and train with you?
See, we have female coaches in our team who are
Okay.
very well qualified as well.
Okay.
Number one, we have females to cater to the ladies. Number two, there have been so many cases where conservative families, women have come to us for training, and they have even trained with male personal trainers. At the end of the day, it's all about the mindset. If health is important to you,
Yeah.
you don't mind going to a male doctor, then why do you have to
Right.
think of coming to a male
Right.
trainer? Again, it's everybody has their own perspective. But if that's the case, we also have female trainers to take care of you. At the end of the day, take care of your health. Whether you train with a male or female doesn't matter. Whether you're a male or female should not matter at all.
And how important is it for the women in the house to be fit? Because we always talk about men getting fit, right? Men going to the gym. And what is your perception on the other side?
If the women in the family are fit, that's the energy which is reflecting in the family. So
Right.
the entire family is inspired and they get fit. I have so many women who have inspired their children
Right.
to start training. My own daughter trains with the same coach, and she goes to the gym with my wife.
Oh.
Yeah. So she sees her mom training, and then she's also motivated to train. So it's the woman in the house who's running the house. So if somebody has to start off, it should be actually the woman in the family
Yeah.
who should start.
She should be the first person.
She should be the first person to start the fitness journey, because
Right.
because the children,
Right.
not even the younger generation, even the older generation, they are watching the woman in the house all the time, and not the man.
Right. Okay, Abhinav bhai, we spoke about a lot of things. Thank you for your time today in the podcast. And I think a lot of questions are still remaining. I think we need to do part 2, part 3, part 4 of this podcast.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. And I think this is the most, it helps a lot to people to understand how fitness is so important nowadays. Because the stress, as you told, the stress and, the anxiety that people have developed, it is very important for us to come out of that and live a healthy life and, achieve things and do hard work and have a good, peaceful life as much as possible that we can. This is what I've understood from the podcast today. And thank you very much for being here. And thank you for your time. And I hope to see you soon. And I hope to train with you as soon as possible.
Thank you, Abbas. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me. Thank you for helping me to reach out more people through your podcast. It's you're doing a great job,
Thank you.
and I really hope that my message goes to more people and people get more aware of the health and fitness.
Thank you, Vinay. Thank you to all the listeners and the people who are watching the episode today. Hope this was a great positive impact and an insight for you. And keep subscribing and keep supporting the channel as you guys have always done. And thank you.